Hello, welcome to our online Shukubo experience tour. My name is Jonas. I've been here in Koyasan for around 2 years now, and during the duration of this tour I'm going to take you around Koyasan and show you some of the most special spots we have to offer. And then tonight we're going to go stay overnight at a Shukubo, a Buddhist temple, and partake in Shojin Ryori, vegetarian cuisine, and watch a morning ceremony and a fire ceremony as well. Hope you enjoy. So here we have the Danjugaran area. When Kobodaishi Kukai first came back from China to Japan, this was the first area that he founded. And he created it as a way for the Buddhist monks to study his newly found Shingon esoteric sect of Buddhism. When he first arrived, he started with the construction of the kondo, and eventually moved on to create more buildings even after he had passed away, with the most notable building being the Konpon Daito, which is a 48-meter tall building which is painted with a really brilliant vermilion lacquer. This is Koyasan's Okunoin Cemetery. It's the largest cemetery in Japan, and the 2 kilometers leading up to Kobodaishi Kukai's Gobyo Mausoleum is lined with hundreds of thousands of tombstones and ancient cedar trees. It is a dedicated UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it culminates with Kobodaishi Kukai's mausoleum, where it is said he is still today in eternal prayer. Shall we go? This is Okunoin's largest Gorinto. As you saw in Okunoin, there are a lot of these smaller versions that had the different tiers to it. But this is the largest one in Okunoin, and each tier represents a different element that the world is made out of in Buddhism. So you have earth, wind, fire, water, and then the top one is space, so it's nothingness. So that's an extra element in Buddhism. And the amazing thing about this is that this was carried up by hand long ago, and they carried it up by using ropes, and they stacked them on top of each other using ropes that way. So it's quite an amazing feat to be able to build this without any machinery. The Shojingu ceremony held in Okunoin takes place twice a day in the morning at 6 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. Regardless of weather, rain or snow, the Buddhist monks carry food prepared for Kobodaishi up to the Torodo Lantern Hall and present it as an offering. This is evidence that Kobodaishi still exists to this day. Next we have Kongobushi Head Temple. Shall we head inside? This here is Kongobushi Head Temple. It is the head temple for around 4,000 branch temples in Japan and all overseas. And it also features Japan's largest rock garden, the Banryute. Shall we have a look inside? Here we are in Kongobushi Head Temple. There's a couple things I want to point your attention to. First of all, the floorboards, when you walk on them, they squeak. And the reason for that is in older times, it was sort of a defense mechanism so that people would know when someone came in, maybe a thief or something. Another thing is the construction of Kongobushi. If you see these pillars almost, they are constructed to look like bridges. Supposed to represent flowing water. And then finally the Ohiruma, which is this really golden room. This is used by the Buddhist monks of Koyasan whenever there is a ceremony taking place here. And it's used all the time, and you can see into it when they're doing their ceremonies as well. So this is known as Koyasugi. It was originally standing in Okunoin behind where Gobyo is now today. And it is around 700-ish years old. And when it got old enough, they decided to cut it down and display it here in Kongobushi Head Temple. So this here is known as koshi, and it's used during Buddhist ceremonies. Typically, Kyusho Mieku is a ceremony done in Koyasan, where the topmost level Buddhist monk rides this during the ceremonies. So here we have the Banryute rock garden. It is Japan's largest rock garden, and if you see the rock formations here, they're supposed to resemble two dragons in a sea of clouds. And the building over there, the Okuden, is used or was used to invite highly esteemed guests to Koyasan. And so the two dragons surround the Okuden as a way of protecting it. After the bitter cold of winter, spring finally returns. Numberless flowers bloom gorgeously and birds sing their delightful melodies in the mountains and fields. A magnificent weeping cherry tree, a wild cherry tree, Japanese caria, camellias, and a willow fill up the 12 sliding panels in the room, manifesting the world of Shingon Buddhism as a mandala of flowers. The deep realization taught by Buddhism can be glimpsed in the contrast between vast deep roots of the tree and the transient petals of the flowers. So here in this room we have what's called the Jodan no Ma. If you can see, this is gold painted all over, and this room was used for whenever someone like the emperor would come. So it was used as a place to entertain their guests. And one of the most interesting things of this room is if you see over there, there's a little sliding door, and since the emperor would be here being entertained, there would be someone waiting in case something were to happen. Another interesting thing about this room is if you come here and you look up, the way that it's constructed, the craftsmanship that went into creating the ceiling parts of this room are truly incredible since it's so fine detailed. Behind me here we have the Daimon. It is considered the entrance into the Koyasan area. It's the first thing people coming up the Choishimichi pilgrimage route see when they enter Koyasan, and it overlooks the surrounding mountains into the distance, so it's a really great spot to be able to see the sunset during all seasons. Here we are at Mujyo Koin. We'll be staying here overnight to get a look at what it's like to stay at a Buddhist temple. We'll be having Shojin Ryori, also known as vegetarian cuisine, because it's customary for monks to not eat meat. We'll also be viewing the morning Gomgyo ceremony, as well as the Gomagyo fire ceremony. During the Gomgyo, we'll be sure to pray for the health of all the viewers watching. So here we have Shojin Ryori, also known as Buddhist vegetarian cuisine. In Buddhism, it's taught to not take the lives of living things. So as a result, only vegetables and fruits and other seasonal ingredients are used, with the central aspect revolving around 5 different flavors, 5 different colors, and 5 different ways of cooking. Itadakimasu. As you can see, there's all these different kinds of ways of cooking. So this, I assumed, is the fried, if you will. So it's some sort of tempura. It's very good. That was a very rich flavor. That's very good. Wow, this is very hot. So with each different season, this main dish will change. So since it's still technically winter, it's nabe, and it's piping hot, as you can imagine. The Gomgyo morning ceremony is conducted at each Shukubo in Koyasan early in the morning from around 6 a.m. Each Shukubo ceremony varies slightly and is a great way to clear your mind to get prepared for the day to come. The Gomagyo ceremony is a ritualistic fire ceremony where a Buddhist monk burns wood with prayers written on them. In burning these, it is believed that the people's prayers will be granted. Well, that concludes the end of our online Shukubo tour experience. I hope you had a fun time looking at what it's like to stay overnight at a Buddhist temple and get a look at the morning ceremony and Shojinryori, and also to take a look around Koyasan and see what we have to offer here. But just know that's just one experience of many possible experiences, since there's so many different Buddhist temples to stay at. And I hope that when you come down to Koyasan, your experience is wonderful. Thank you very much for watching.